Well, we're just going to wait for a few people to come in. We'll just check this on LinkedIn. We're on live on YouTube. Give people a few minutes.
We're looking forward to today's session, Piers. AI transformation is something on everyone's mind.
It is actually. That's quite, they have quite a lot of traction on this one. You can enjoy the down tempo chill for now. So if you're just sort of coming in, you'll see there this QR code, access resources. So we've got a new resource center. So you can scan that or take a photo and you'll be able to access our resource center. So a lot of the things you're going to see in here are actually available in our resource center. We'll be adding more videos soon as well. I'll give it another minute.
Yeah, there's different white papers, there's different specific workshops which we've delivered, and also there's a way to interact with some of the different AI agents. And I always feel the best way to understand the impact is to actually experience it, basically.
And also, if you want to ask questions, we're going to have a Q&A at the end, but you can always ask them as you go along as well. We can see them. So it's better to do this on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So you can comment on YouTube as well, but on LinkedIn as well. And then we'll see the question, the messages come up, and we can come back to them at the end. Okay. Well, Aalok, I think we should probably get going. Let's kill the tunes.
Let's get started. So we've got quite a bit to cover today, isn't it, Piers? Right, and the whole point is having a structure and having a system and an approach for any business, any sector, any stage, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, isn't it? AI foundations.
Yeah, so if you've got your lunch, get ready to eat it well. We'll go for about 50 slides, and we're going to go through some of these pretty quickly. But effectively, AI foundations. So we started implementing AI, what was it, just over a year ago, really. But really, in anger, probably 6 months ago now, 6-7 months ago. We've had a huge amount of feedback. We work with lots of clients across lots of different sectors, clients from, $1 million in revenue up to sort of 400 million, our largest client. We may have a client with 14 billion quite soon, which is quite interesting. But what we've learned from that is being at the coal face is, what are the questions, what are the issues, what are the complexities, what are the concerns of organizations that they understand they need to implement AI, they understand they need to do something, or at least begin to understand it and start that journey. But how do you go about it? So we developed AI foundations, which, as you can say there, is really designed for any business in any sector, any stage in development. Obviously, it does help to have you've got some workflows and processes where we can actually add value and automate them, and almost any budget. So we'll come back to that at the end. And again, if you just join, you can scan the QR code there and access our resource center as well. And we'll be putting more resources in there. So Alok's going to drive. So this is us. If you don't know who we are, then why is that? We're both co-founders of Implement AI. I'm the executive chairman. Aalok's the CEO. He's the brains behind the outfit. I'm just the beauty. And we basically have committed ourselves to helping organizations of almost any size to understand, embrace, and implement artificial intelligence technology. So my background is, I've done some TV and Dragon's Den and things like that, but I've been in sort of enterprise IT, enterprise communications for probably 15, almost 20 years. And AI really, I was first introduced as a trustee of Nesta, which is a £400 million foundation, doing lots of research on the impact of AI and robotics on the economy. Aalok, you want to say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, so my background is I've got like a tech, clinical health background, and also with AI, working with it from back in 2018, computer vision, neural networks, deep learning, and it was very different back then. And we've been seeing like over the years how the power has increased and the opportunities are much greater. And we met in 2019 and we just kept in touch over the years. And we were seeing how there were so many opportunities. Really, this is almost like the best period of time for entrepreneurs and business owners, the ones that want to embrace this, because they have opportunities like never before, basically.
It's also a concerning one because people realize that this is going to change the game. We don't quite know what pace, but it is going to change the game in many, many ways. And the question is how do you understand the technology, implement it in the business, in your processes, your workflows, training your people? And that's what we're here to do. So we're going to go through a sort of again, we always got to go through an AI introduction. Is, why now? Why artificial intelligence? What does it mean? Why does it matter? Why should you be thinking about it? That's all very important stuff. Then the body of this presentation today, we're going to go through the AI Foundations framework. So that's our new framework that's designed, and you'll see how we've kind of come about it and how it works, and how it works for any business, no matter where you are in your thinking, any stage. And then the important part is a Q&A. So if you've got questions, and especially if you're on LinkedIn, so we've got people, Alex Livingston. Hello, Alex. We've got a deep question already, but so keep them coming, and we'll come back to those if they're really exciting. Not that yours isn't, Alex, but we'll get a bit of momentum going, and we'll come back to the questions at the end and do a Q&A. So keep them coming in to LinkedIn because I can see them here and respond to you.
Perfect.
In 2024, businesses need to have a clear strategy to implement AI. It's the single biggest opportunity to drive revenue and reduce costs. This, for example, is an AI avatar, but there are other opportunities such as AI voice agents. Having a clear strategy is a must for any business leader that wants to thrive in 2024 and beyond.
These AI technologies are increasing all the time. We're seeing so many new applications where it can be like personalized emails, personalized messages, even like, sectors that you wouldn't think are embracing AI avatars. For example, in some legal sectors, they are, and you see some very nice experiences that like the executives and the leaders can scale themselves, scale their time, and offer kind of like a more personalized service and experience. And there's all these technologies, you really want to make sure that you have the visibility of all of them so your team can start to embrace them and deliver them essentially.
So again, we've got a QR code there. This is our resource center, the same one in the top left. A lot of white papers in there, which we'll sort of talk you through here. We've got white papers on how to build an AI-assisted organization, kind of our foundational white paper. There's a white paper in there about how to understand and create an augmented workforce. This is not, today we're not talking about augmented workforces, but essentially for the foreseeable future, that is what you are creating. AI agents, virtual workers, working with your physical workers, yourself, to sort of work together, this machine, sort of human-machine partnership to create value. So there's a huge amount of stuff in there, and it's growing all the time. So make sure you register. And if you don't know yet, we've got the UK's #1 AI for Business podcast. I think there's only one, but we're very proud of that. But this is really about some AI news. We're trying to distill and focus on the AI for business news. So some of this kind of overlap and exciting consumer use cases because you can use that in many businesses, but really it's AI for business. And then also every week we choose a theme as well.
And we've got tools as well. Like, so for example, we've got like a knowledge base. So if you're thinking like, okay, I want to learn more about how to implement AI, have a look at how our knowledge base can help.
Many organizations have a lot of knowledge. They've produced a lot of materials. We're no different. We've produced them on 36 podcasts. And one of the common questions we get from business owners is like, how can I use AI specifically in my business? So let's have a little look at our knowledge base, because this could be useful for your business too. So if we're asking a question like, so as a restaurant owner, how can I implement AI to grow my business? So we ask a question, right? So we ask a question to a knowledge base, and then what will happen is the AI will actually look inside the details, and here it is, some specific examples and strategies. These are discussed from within our podcast. Interesting. We actually went into detail about how you could use AI to create customized menus, but there's different examples that kind of come out from here. Okay, that's fine, but I want to learn more. So how can I do that? So let's click here.
The LLM talks to it when it needs to get up-to-date data to use in that generation of content.
No, definitely. And I think that's great for your operations side of it. But actually, you mentioned that like for the restaurant that maybe they can't leverage things, but they actually can, for example. So imagine you've got your normal restaurant, but then you also want to like open your, let's call it virtual restaurants, like your cloud kitchen.
Yeah, so Aalok, stop that. So you can see there, you can go from, so this is called retrieval augmented generation. You probably heard, talk to your documents. You can do this. We'll talk about Microsoft Copilot as a capability. This can use any data source, and you can jump from the conversation, the chat, into the exact sort of moment in a video, for example, as to where you've been talking. It's all timestamped. So super powerful. So we use this technology ourselves, clearly. We use it in our sort of sales, our marketing, our knowledge bases, and just some examples for you to look at as well. So let's get into it. So why now? Okay, so this graph here it kind of summarizes our view of the world and our business and what we're trying to do. So you've had, like, I'm not going to go into huge detail on this because there's lots of other presentations we've done in our resource center to cover this, but we've done, you've had 100,000 years of sort of human, the first world. You had the first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, you had the third digital revolution, really, the internet, Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. And then we've now entered an AI-assisted era. So this has been around for a long time, which we'll touch upon. But in this era, you talk about AI is going to replace, cognitive labor, knowledge work, and physical labor. We'll come on to talk about that. But essentially, we're now in this era. So this exponential curve that you read about, or you hear about a lot, we're in the foothills of it. We don't quite know how steep it's going to be, or when it's really, really going to sort of kick off. But the issue with us is that we always think in a linear fashion. I've been a lawyer, I've been an investment banker. It's always 5%, 10%, 2% up and down. But in this world, the point we're trying to make here is that we're moving from a world which is going to be AI assisted, which is what we're trying to do today, to an AI first world, which means that, especially artificial general intelligence, you're going to have a world where artificial intelligence can learn and recursively grow and become even more exponential, a steeper curve. So we want to help you in this AI-assisted era understand, how do you implement this technology in your business? What pace, and the way it works for you, your team, your business, and your budget. Because you've got to get ahead of the game. Because in this exponential world, getting left behind is a bad plan. It is potentially going to be fatal.
I mean, like in this presentation, we don't have time to go into like some of the breaking tools that are going through, but Sora, for example, Piers, isn't it? Like if you look at like how like powerful the video creation is, and how that's even affecting how studios are planning out their films and things like this already. And so we're definitely on a steep trajectory on this exponential curve.
Well, we'll probably sound like our podcast now, which you should definitely listen to. But OpenAI have actually stalled releasing a voice engine, because the voice it can create from a couple of, not even a minute of listening to your voice, it can replicate your voice with all the intonation, the inflection. It just sounds just like you. So they've actually stalled that, because we're coming up to elections and they're quite worried about it. So AI is not new. It's been around for, Alan Turing, 50 years at least in terms of research. You've had 10 years, really, probably 15 maybe, of large organizations, institutions, focusing and working on algorithms and machine learning. You had computer vision, you had translation, you had, people spending millions. That's what Aalok, you doing, Aalok, isn't it? Spending huge amounts of money teaching machines essentially to understand, in your case, how the inside of a mouse should look, or what a glass looks like. And the transformer model, something that Google sort of invented, and which OpenAI sort of picked up and ran with, and large language models have completely changed the game. What you've seen in the last 18 months, maybe 2 years now, is it's entered the consumer realm, and also the ability enabled businesses of any size to access it. So this is all everyone's talking about. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of talk about it replacing jobs and robotics. AI safe, it's all very, very important. But let's face it, what really matters to you is the impact it has on you, your business, and the opportunity ahead of you, and the people that work for you as well. So we get a lot of sort of coverage. We're becoming quite well known in the sector. This is me here. It's the Yahoo News and the Daily Mail as well, talking about how AI is going to affect the future. And in this case, I was talking about call centers. And I had a post on LinkedIn, if you follow me on LinkedIn, where I think I said call centers are going away by 2026. And the reality is, I mean, you look at OpenAI's voice engine, is that the days of humans answering phones, first line support, customer service, dealing with basic issues, they're done, they're over. You don't need to have a building and heating and call center technology and people on phones and huge amount of churn to it and training and back office and people listening to calls. It can all be increasingly automated. And so we actually don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. We build these things for our clients. So again, here's another QR code, and don't do it now, but this is in our resource center as well. Go and talk to our call agent. It was quite interesting is that in the call center example, lots of people, including one YouTuber, popped up and he said, I'm going to call their agent. I thought, well, where's this going? And actually, to be fair to him, he said he was very impressed with it. And this is, we always say that AI today is the worst it's ever going to be. So our call center agent, we think, is actually pretty good. But in 6 months' time, when voice agent's available, and in 12 months' time, it'll be exponentially better again. So always remember, whenever we say, or people say it can't do this, it won't do that, always put a hyphen yet at the end of that sentence.
And the way to think about it is like with any new kind of skill or capability which a team member would do, let's just say using the phone, there are different types of phone calls. There are like, for example, taking a message or taking information, just receiving information. Then there's like more complex phone calls where you might be suggesting different things, or there's even more complex phone calls where we might be handling different elements of it. AI can definitely already do things step by step, and we're going to be going through a foundations framework to help you understand and plan that basically to go ahead.
So again, we're not going to dwell on this for too long. You've heard a lot of this before, but this is a huge opportunity. It's a massive change. You look at the internet, steam power, electrification. You've seen false starts in, things like robotics, which I think now you are going to see the dawn of robotics and affordable robotics as well. You've seen, crypto and blockchain, where has it really found its use case? The difference here is what you need to understand is that historically, even computers, very good, driven by, CPUs, Moore's, all that good stuff. But essentially, all they were really doing is and or if statements, right? This is different. This is productized, commoditized intelligence, And that intelligence is only going to become more intelligent. Large language models are very good at some things, not so good at other things. And maybe, there'll be something else that comes along where it's much better. But right now, today, the technology you have, this intelligence, which blows me away every day, can change the game and change your business.
Exactly. And that's the whole point, right? If you can start to integrate AI into the key parts of your business, the key parts of the workflow, and even key parts of the customer journey, you can get an asymmetric competitive advantage where you can do more, be cheaper, have different ways. I mean, I was discussing with a different business owner the other day, like there's one area within AI where you can take £12,000 worth of costs straight out of the business. I mean, the more things you do with that, the better you're going to be, the leaner you're going to be, and the more valuable your business is going to be. So the whole point is, by using the technology in the right way and by embracing and getting ahead, you will discover the use cases where everybody else sees a dark room, but you can see exactly what you want to see. I call it like seeing, having spectral night vision, a bit like the Predator, essentially. So
that's really important, though. So just going back to that is that if you can see something other people can't, that means you can respond to it, you can react to it, you can design products and services based on that information, and that gives you a competitive advantage. So, we've got one client we're working with now. It's quite a large company in the healthcare sector where we've enabled them to look at the huge amount of data they have in new ways and converse with it using natural language rather than outsourcing it to a very expensive data analyst consultancy. So this is actually really important, and we're not going to touch on it today. Really, we're just giving you a few sort of things to think about here. But it's always going to start with your data and having access to it. But let's go on to AI foundations. So this is again about AI transformation, right? We call it intelligent business transformation. We've worked with lots of clients over the last 9 months. Different sectors, different issues, different understandings. People understand a lot of its mindset as well. Organizations that we tend to engage with tend to understand that we need to at least understand this and do something about it. Another extreme, some are saying, look, we're all in. We want to innovate. We want to create some competitive advantage, an unfair advantage using artificial intelligence. But there's two key things, Aalok, isn't there? One is empowering your team. You're augmenting your workforce, yourself as well, with AI related skills and understanding its capabilities and the technology. And then at the same time, it's actually expanding their capacity and becoming more productive, more efficient by using AI tools to automate workflows and processes.
Exactly. So I think this is there's two very important elements. There's empowering your team and it's expanding capacity with workflows. And basically what this means is that in order to sort of expand your productivity, you bring in two new capabilities of AI and automation, and also the mindset of your team. Because when you've got all three of those things aligned, Your team can spot the next opportunities to automate. They could even potentially like get some of these different elements done themselves, and other areas which were more time consuming could be done faster and better with AI as well. So you need to think as a business owner how to bring these two new capabilities into your business and how to upskill and level up your team. So that's quite an ask for most business owners, but many business owners with the right structure and framework, they can unlock huge opportunities, and nobody's better versed than your team to spot those opportunities. We've had nice examples where people, when they've had the right training and the right approach, they really unlock new opportunities essentially, isn't it, Piers?
But you can't really understand what can be unlocked unless you have some understanding of the technology, how it works and its capabilities. And that requires training or at least some leveling up. And what AI Foundations does is not everybody wants to innovate. Nobody wants to, go out there and start spending money and budget and resource, this sort of finite resource on innovation. A lot of our clients say, look, we're very good at what we do. What I want to do is optimize what we do first, and then let's think about innovation. So there's kind of optimize, it's like do what you do better, be more productive, be more efficient, be better, have a workforce that does more meaningful work and is happier. And then there's one which is breaking from the pack, is creating an unfair advantage, which is innovate. So we've kind of broken the two out in many ways. You can do both, but you don't have to.
Exactly. And that's the key thing here is like one of them's going to unlock capacity and cut costs and increase profitability. The other one's going to help you unlock whole new markets and grow much faster. And at the same time, like really stand out and differentiate. And I think the key thing to think about is over the next 3 years, really, let's call it the category defining businesses in each sector. They're going to be the ones which embrace AI the most, and they offer new value for their customers. And then it's going to become a bit like a flywheel effect where the bigger ones will win faster because it all compounds. So the key thing here is you want to kind of get on board and get your optimization done, because you very quickly you'll understand, actually, I can innovate by unlocking these different new services or solutions and things like this. And this is where you're going to get to, basically.
So this is really what we're trying to do. So one is, on here is also reducing risk, but essentially by optimizing, what you are doing is, in a lot of businesses, your cost base is very much linked to your revenue. So it's kind of a linear relationship. And we're trying to disengage the two. So by optimizing, what you're doing is becoming more productive, more efficient. You're augmenting your workforce so they can get more done. So it doesn't really mean about, in many cases, people losing their jobs. It means that the people you've got can do more. You're getting more revenue per employee. So essentially, your cost base relatively becomes flatter. And as you grow, you can keep growing where you were, got more margin, but ideally, when you're ready, you can innovate and try and steepen your growth curve to grow faster. So when you combine the two, you get this kind of double whammy. But essentially what you're doing, you're creating more margin, you're creating more value, more profit, which you can then plow back into the business, plow back into more artificial intelligence, or it's dividends, it's profits. And essentially, based on your plan for your business, that's a more valuable business, and we're creating more wealth.
Exactly. So when you're optimizing, you're thinking about making sure your team and yourselves have the AI mindset to be able to spot opportunities within the business and within your sector. AI competency, they can actually leverage AI within their everyday work safely and effectively. So the key thing is like it's being used on a regular basis to be more productive, and AI usage, being able to implement AI assisted workflows, because there's things of using tools, but there's also like things where workflows will just happen, automatically as well, basically. And you want to make sure you've got the ones that fit your business in the way that you want them to happen, basically.
We're gonna go through this in some detail. So but the two elements to mindset, I would say, one is you need to have the mindset of that. There's something in. I might not fully understand it. I might not fully appreciate where it's going. I might not even believe some of it sometimes. But as I said before, in that exponential world, not embracing it and working out what are the opportunities and what are the risks as well is a bad plan. And then the first step is competency, and then implementation, integration, and actually how do you use in a business. Today, we're going to focus more on optimize, because you don't want to be here kind of all day. And then maybe another session, and we'll go through it slightly at the end. We have different programs for innovate. But today we're going to focus on the base level, AI essentials, level 1, level 2.
Exactly. So this is our framework, basically, like where a business, if they're going to like transform with AI, there's different levels you go. You go from your base level, competency, usage, integration, systems, and transformation. But let's go through the steps. So starting at the base level.
So this is the basics. So we call this AI essentials. So this is really so I always say that there's no point giving somebody, even a team, a saxophone, they don't know how to play it. It's going to sound flipping awful. This is just the basics. What is this technology? What is it capable of? Where is it going? How does it work? Hasn't got to be super technical, but unless you really know how it works, what its capabilities are, it's very hard then to sort of use it, or also to imagine how you can automate or at least simplify what you do. So this technology isn't really replacing jobs yet, not yet. What it's doing is taking out tasks. So you might have 20 tasks that formulate your job or a job. And what you can now do is say, well, the 5 most mundane, the 5 most administrative, I can take out and automate them so I can focus on adding more value to the business.
Exactly. And it's making sure that the team all has the same understanding of AI in business across text, images, numbers, audio, and video. Because if they've all got that common understanding and the ability to use those tools, it means you can start to unlock more and more productivity and more use cases. And the underlying intelligence of these AI systems, for example, are becoming extremely powerful, where they can review huge documents, find, inaccuracies, help you audit things, help you, analyze and check different elements. It can be done in a very, very powerful way. And these technologies are increasing all the time. Like there's Gemini, for example, which has a huge context window of nearly 1 million, and it can even put in videos and ask it for different elements. So the thing is, your team is often doing many different tasks or searching for information. I think I read somewhere that like companies, employees spend 13% of their time searching for information. So you think 13% of your annual payroll is just lost on like looking for things. And that's where like, having, an AI knowledge base or different things can help. So if they understand how they can use it, they're going to be able to like integrate it into more areas, basically, isn't it?
Also, but this exponential change is in the, not so much the number of models. You're actually seeing some consolidation, like Microsoft now absorbed Inflection, for example, but tokens. So take prompt engineering. We're not going to go into prompt engineering in huge detail here, but really it's about understanding how you prompt. So how do you ask the questions? How do you even talk to it in audio now these days? And then how do you provide context? And therefore what you get is the optimal output for your input, your effort, and your time. Otherwise, you're going to spend a huge amount of time just talking this technology. And what you're going to get out, you're going to think, well, it's not adding any value because you're not using it properly. So the point here is that you can now upload the entire, not that I've read it, Harry Potter series of books with a prompt, and in there somewhere you could type in some random line about space travel and Star Trek, and if you ask at the prompt, ask to look for that, it will find even in the midst of all of that text. So the ability to provide a huge amount of context to get the answer you want is growing exponentially. And the beauty of this is, for us in business, is that the competition is driving this technology, and it means it's moving very, very quickly. We use Claude, we use Gemini, we use ChatGPT and OpenAI. I tend to use Claude more for documents, to be honest with you, than OpenAI. I think it's better, but it hasn't got things like it's not as multimodal. Like you can't show it images as much like Gemini, and it's not as good in terms of really sort of complicated work in terms of like maybe ChatGPT 4. So you've got to find the right tool for the right job, and that's why it's basically have that basic essentials.
Exactly, and using it in the right way, because if your team know how to use it and how to specify the type of output you want, you can ensure that a much more consistent output, and it can be in a very structured way. So otherwise, within the Foundations program, we also give them, in the essentials part of it, understanding exactly how you use it, where you can use it in your own business as well. So that's like the essentials level. Then we go into competency.
So this is really, okay, you understand the basics. What is it? How does it kind of work? What is it capable of? Where is it going in the near term? We don't really know in the longer term. There's a bit of a fog a couple of years out. But it's about competency. So it's making sure that your team and you can understand, how do I use the tools that exist? And not only how do I use them more, it's more how do I apply them to how we or I want to run a business or do my job. So this is some great research, which was by Harvard, working with some consultants. I think it was actually Boston Consulting Group, BCG. So think about cognitive labor, knowledge work. This is what we have prized so highly in our economy. So we pay people a lot of money for. The people who have bullseyes on them, not just Uber drivers and admin assistants, it's people earning, £300,000-400,000 a year because they've spent many, many years at, university and doing postgrads. But essentially the knowledge workers, and this technology is very, very good at that. So these consultants did 12% more tasks, 25% more quickly, and 40% higher quality. So if you and also mathematically you can quite multiply them all together. But the compounding change is enormous, isn't it?
And that's just one area, right? So then when you start multiplying things together, I saw another very nice presentation where they were showing that how they changed the whole brainstorming sessions, where instead of putting different post-it notes on the wall, they were actually trying to come up with a creative campaign. They used AI tools to basically, they created a knowledge base which was of that world for that customer in that way, and they were able to like rapidly generate examples of creative, within a 2-hour time span. So they actually had, rather than just post-it notes about ideas, they actually had small videos about the different ideas or entire like landing pages. So it means you can move much faster and get much better buy-in, because as a business, you're a combination of people and you need to have everybody aligned. So everybody needs to see the same stuff and understand the same stuff. And that's where,
and Aalok, that example there, it wasn't some agent they built. They were just using out-of-the-box tool. I think that was probably OpenAI ChatGPT Plus. So if you imagine that your organization, if you snap your fingers and tomorrow people were, generating 40% better quality work and 25% faster, why would you not want that for hardly any investment at all?
Exactly. And that's where the whole point is, like, when you think about the work that's currently happening right now, many organizations are fully on the left, but you want to move into this AI assisted area where it's human team member and AI tools. And then you also want to evolve into AI driven, where you can get more productivity increases as well, basically.
Yeah, this is this kind of human machine partnership. So you have to think about yourself. So the two elements there as well. Again, we're kind of going off slightly here, but you've got to think about your team members will be more productive if they're augmented and assisted by AI and AI agents. But also increasingly, people aren't going to want to work for you unless you are augmenting them. Why would they? So this is you've probably all heard of Copilot for Microsoft 365. There's other Copilots as well, GitHub if you understand code. Fantastic tools. It gives you all the kind of confidence you need about the walled garden and where's your data permissions. It all kind of works really, really well. You can access the Microsoft Graph, your data. They're built into the Microsoft Productivity Suite apps. Google have a similar thing as well, although we're a Microsoft partner and NVIDIA partner. But you can also, and we'll touch on it a bit later, is that you can, it's extensible. So don't think of your Microsoft 365 Copilot as it does what you can see within the 365 productivity suite. You can use platforms that's no code or low code to extend that into other data sources and to do other things and use other models as well even.
Exactly. And I think that's where it becomes super powerful, because then you've got the ability to not just get your Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all done much faster and much better. You could also use Copilot to kick off other processes or reviews, or if you've got a particular way you need to, audit documents, or a particular way you need to analyze for the contents of different things, you can have the ability to have those customized within your own business, essentially. And beyond Microsoft ecosystem, there's also like what we call kind of like best in class kind of like applications or solutions your team also want to have competency around, because that can unlock even more productivity as well, basically.
So competency is essentially, as I said, it's about, you've got essentials and competency about is what are the tools that you should be using in your business that they already exist, they're out there without having to innovate or write code, and having the people that need to in different areas of your business, they're going to need to use different tools, but it's making sure that they understand the basics. And now, this is going to change massively. Everyone's embedding AI into all of their software as a service. So level 2, really, which Aalok, isn't it? It's about usage. It's about, your team sort of trained to use the basics. They're competent. But now it's a question of, okay, how do we really start to add value? How do we really start to automate the mundane, the admin, the things that I don't want to be doing so I can focus on more meaningful work? And by giving them the base level on level 1, and we've seen this in a client that is in the sort of legal, it's kind of close to legal sector, where once the team had gone through, base level and level 1, they understood the capability, then it opened up a whole myriad of different use cases that they'd never thought of before, because the people who do this work are the ones who are best to come to you and say, actually, we could automate this.
Exactly. And this is where the key thing is, where it gets exciting, because with SaaS, you've got like the kind of like out of the box solution, which does whatever you want it to do. Well, does whatever the developer wants it to do. But in your own business, you have so many different use cases, and you can actually have customized solutions which will do it the way you want to do it within your business as well, basically. So if you're going to go through some of these different areas, Piers, like.
Well, I've got just generally on that, I've got my bugbear of SaaS really is that essentially what they're trying to do is say, look, we think you should run your business this way, and then there's an application. Might do lots of different things. It might be jack of all trade, master of none. It might be very specific, do one thing really, really well. But what you don't want is a proliferation of software as a service around your business. And also what you want to do going forward, especially as you begin to be able to talk to these machines in natural language, code is going away. You'll be able to write code by talking to a machine. You'll just get an output. But what we're saying is that you should run your business and automate your business and engage with your prospects and your customers and your colleagues in the way that you want to, that you think works best, not in the way some software as a service company has told you to, because that's how they built their product for the largest addressable market. So you can see here we've got a long list in the resource center of sales and marketing. A lot of optimization happens in sales and marketing because obviously it's very, very important. Revenue solves lots of problems, but increasingly we have a huge number of workflows across operations, fulfillment, logistics, you name it, recruitment, HR, customer service support. I mean, customer service and support, as well as prospect and outreach and engagement and qualifying leads, is going to be completely transformed with the next 2 years. So if you're not sort of on board with at least looking at this for 2 years, you're going to find yourselves facing the competition that are engaging with customers in ways you just don't understand.
Exactly. And the thing, if you think about it, it changes like training, because like rather than like having to get people to memorize lots of different things, if you can give them tools where they could look things up and get the answers straight away, and you've got the ability to have the AI to even check their answers or even analyze it, even after a meeting, it could even analyze and explain, how well that went or where the opportunities are. And you've got also, the ability to give your customer tools to even like get answers themselves much quicker. You're just going to be in a much better, much leaner, much more productive way. So this is just some examples, but there are so many areas where once your team understand how AI can be used and they've got competency in the main tools, many of these can start becoming augmented. And then you can start going to the next step where you might start wanting to like look at where can we automate as well, isn't it, Piers?
So this is, first off, is really about the repetitive, the mundane, the admin, the things that can be. So if you think about, if you've got any workflow or process where you have data that's presented on, let's say, a computer screen or some kind of screen, and then somebody in the business then reacts to it and adds value to it or changes it or responds to it, and then basically inputs it back into a system, that typically, no matter what it is, can be automated. It's quite difficult to automate someone popping out to get you a Starbucks right now, but generally, many roles or 5 tasks within 20 tasks to make up a job can be automated. So the first thing is to go through, typical consulting approach really, is to go through and work out what can we automate, understand the technology, and that will expand your understanding of what can be automated, then find the tools that exist that you can use, and then use the tools where it's kind of low code, the platforms that we use where we can build tools pretty quickly that make a massive difference. And then if you want to, you can continuously begin to improve the automation and begin to write your own apps and create your own AI agents.
And this is what in the Foundations program, we help your team unlock and have the capability to understand how to do these different things. So as an example, when you start building your own custom tools, there are so many examples, where you can kind of create, for generating particular documents or for analyzing.
Go back there, go back to the policy and handbooks, right? I mean, how many organizations have you got policies, training manuals, and nobody wants to read this stuff. Exactly. No one tends to. And what that introduces to your business is it slows you down, because when they need to know something, they have to go and find it. But also it introduces more risk, because people aren't, especially if you're regulated, they aren't really doing things the way they should do. So having knowledge base like the one we showed earlier, where they can go straight to a point in a document or a YouTube video that gives them the answer faster, means that all you're reducing is you're reducing friction in your business to get what needs to get done.
Exactly. And this is like where it comes down to, like, when you want to have, when you've got your business is set up the way you want to, just like your office is set up the way you want your office to be set up. You don't have a generic office with like a chair and a sofa in the generic way. You've had it customized the way you want to. The same thing is for your AI operations, essentially. You can then have different elements built in either in the Microsoft ecosystem to help, automate, create your own tools and different elements of this, or you can have systems outside the Microsoft ecosystem which can help you with automations and streamlining different ways. But the point is, you can move to solutions which are bespoke to you in the way you want them to be. And so you can be much more scalable, and also not generic. Be the
And
one.
the difference now, go back to that's the Microsoft, well, the next one. So here, these automations, things like Make and Zapier, heard them before, is that they were typically and or if. So if this happens, do this. And what that means now is that, go back to the next slide, Aalok, it means that when if you've probably seen here, at some point you can add in intelligence. So here, input intelligence, and that completely changes the output of what you can do with these automations. So the ability to automate is, we're not going to look at innovation today. In Optimise is to look at your business, make sure your people out there know the essentials, they're competent, they know how to use the technology and where it can be used. And then in the kind of fastest low code, no code way, we work with you on that, is to implement the technology to start making those changes.
Exactly. And then that gives you like a strong foundation, because this is all a process, and it's a question of like, get more efficient, get wins, build confidence, get more efficient, build wins, get confidence. And that's how that kind of works. So today's
and it's not massively expensive, has a potentially really serious, significant returns on investment, and there's not a huge amount of risk being introduced to your business. And it's not, if you're not used to innovation projects in your organization, you're used to just getting what you need to get done as efficiently as possible, then this works for you.
Like I say, just to high level, just to touch on where you can move beyond it. And we've got different programs available for innovation with, let's say, our Activate program or Advantage programs. It's where you might have AI assistants and agents taking over to take over certain tasks, increasing efficiency. So it could be like voice agents, different things like that. Then it could be AI systems specific, unique internal tools which almost supercharge and give your team insights from consultations, from meetings, or from different work they do, so that they can be even better. And then it even enables you to even automate entire departments. And then at the apex, it's about unique customer-facing AI service or tools, offers a new value proposition, and transforms customer experience and competitive positioning. So
it's also in data, isn't it? So in data,
exactly,
we've got two clients actually, where we're using the huge amount of data they have. Don't have to worry so much now about having data lakes, and it's just where, as long as you can access the data, which is really important. Don't use a black box in your business anymore. You can't access the data and record everything you possibly can. You can use that data to look at insight, so that's optimizing, or you can use the data to create new products and services in new ways, which is innovation.
exactly. And just as some examples of where else can things be done. So for example, many people who've got many phone calls happening every day, they might be missing a lot of appointments. And then, for example, we create an AI which analyzes all the phone calls. In some companies, they have 12 people listening to all phone calls just to identify if there were missed opportunities. But the AI can actually listen to all the opportunities and spot, for example, this guy who was interested in a £15,000 service, was playing golf, was busy and a bit confused. So it helps highlight that for a team member to be able to follow those people up. So if you can almost have AI which spots the diamonds, hidden in the mountain of sand, that you can then just go straight to and just pick them all up, you're going to be much more productive.
I mean, yeah, any business where you recorded phone calls, there's a huge amount of value in that unstructured data that even humans listening to those calls cannot really understand and comprehend and extract. Whereas now that process can be completely automated using artificial intelligence, just pretty basic generative AI.
Exactly. And then there's other tools, for example, like when there's very specific types of interviews which happen within a business where they got a new client and they want to ask lots of questions. We built tools where they can just have a conversation, it records everything, analyzes the sentiment and emotion of people, but also most interestingly, it gives you key insights of here. And the key insights of this person is their family-oriented security focus, their financial goals, their health and safety. You've got a summary, a snapshot of that person, and to impress and wow this client, consider the 5 actions. So it gives you areas where you can do that. So what these are internal tools which can help your team member be more consistent, be more productive, and always almost have a superpower which is added in for them, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, and what that means is that the days of forms, have gone, where you needed to get a field, first name, last name, so you could, transpose it into your CRM. They're going away. You can have a conversation now. You personally, as long as you record it, or they can talk to an agent, and all that unstructured information, that value, that information you could never have before, you can actually now use it to create hyper-personalized engagements, and that's something that more and more clients are interested in.
Exactly. And let's show an example of how it could be on a website, for example.
If you sell a high value product or service, right now your website's probably missing one thing, And that's the ability to do a needs discovery and actually ask the questions to the customer about what they're looking for. This can often be a barrier to customers who appear on your website not taking any actions because they don't want to book a consultation. So let's have a look at how an AI sales assistant could help that. So if it's on the website, you just click to wake it up.
Ali from Implement AI. I'm an AI specialist here to help you discover the best opportunities to implement artificial intelligence in your business. Can you tell me your name first?
Yeah, it's Peter.
Great. It's nice to meet you, Peter. Peter, please, can you confirm your company name?
Yeah, it's ABC Bathrooms and Interiors. So this can replace
ABC Bathrooms
forms.
and Interiors sounds great. Could you tell me a little about what your company does?
Yeah, we help people basically discover a new option for their bathroom or their interior. So interior fit out services. So I'm going to pause it here, but then from this kind of natural conversation, the AI can generate a report, send it by WhatsApp or email, and it creates that much more engaging service. So if you sell, I don't know, a bathroom, a kitchen, any kind of like consultative sale, where there needs to be a discussion, you've got a way of understanding more. And this is where the companies which have that advantage layer, where they can understand more about the customer before it even talks to a person, then the person's going to have access to all that information as well to have a much more targeted relationship. And it means you can massively increase the size of your funnel and the number of people you can engage in a much more deeply way.
Yes, so voice is going to change everything. So you're seeing there where this is not a walkie-talkie conversation. You could butt in and say, "Oh no, actually, my name's not Peter. I was only joking. It's Piers," and then it'll adjust immediately. So you're not having this. You'll see there the response times are 300 milliseconds, 250 milliseconds. We can reduce it further even, but people want answers. They want a solution. They don't really care. What we're finding is whether they're talking to a human or an AI agent. We hear the phone calls and we listen to them, and at the end of these calls, people say, "Thank you. It's been really nice talking to you," which is essentially like having a conversation with your toaster. But they're so used to it and so thankful that they got the answer quickly. And as Aalok said, you immediately receive a branded, try it. I'll talk to our call agent. You immediately receive an email and a WhatsApp message with a branded summary of the conversation. So that's AI foundations, okay? So it's a quick whiz through. We've kind of built it so you can optimize and do things better, be more productive, more efficient. There's not a huge amount of risk in terms of your business, in terms of you're not worrying about innovation and new projects. There's innovation as well, which we'll come back to another time, which is AI Activate program, AI Accelerate and AI Advance, which is more of a longer term 12-month program. You can do both, so you can optimize what you do and also invest some time and budget on innovation and building a business. You can go and look at what in our resource center. We're going to add this foundations program, which you also get when you sign up. And also in the competency part of it, we're creating a place where your team can go and they can understand and see over time as it evolves. How do you use AI to, for words, images, numbers, audio, sounds, and text? So it's going to evolve over time. So we're going to take you on that journey. So this has been designed from lots of feedback from probably 25, 30 even clients in terms of how they approach, how they think about it. And we hope it helps you think about the future and also implement AI in your business. Anything else, Aalok?
No, I think that's basically it. The whole point is for any business to be able to start in a modular way, and for an investment, it starts from £5,000. So it means that it's accessible to more businesses. You can do financing if needed, and the whole point is to begin your transformation journey because there are so many revenue saving opportunities you can unlock and so many cost, revenue growth opportunities you can unlock as well, basically.
So let's we've got let's got one or two questions here. This is quite a good one actually. Quite a deep question, but without AI, what are the consequences for business? Right. So in the longer term, if you go through, this world of we looked at this an AI assisted world, is that organizations that aren't actually at least beginning to understand and embrace this technology will increasingly get left behind. Now, a lot of the tools you use, the SaaS you use, they're going to embed AI into them for you to use as well. So you will kind of benefit. But the point is, Aalok always says this, is that eventually everybody's going to have that, right? So it's like having spell check. What's the differentiation? So where you create more value is understanding your customers, having that sort of night vision so you can see data and insights that people can't, responding to it by creating new products and services, different sort of hyper-personalized engagements, using voice instead of forms, for example. And over time, if you keep up with it, you're going to grow and pull away with the pack. But if you don't, this is why nation states are in a panic about artificial intelligence, because in an exponential world, if one nation solves AGI on Monday and one does it on Wednesday, the one that did it on Wednesday will never catch up. And that's what it's going to be like in business. So we're here to sort of help you implement this technology and understand it at a pace that works for your business, not at a pace that some consultant sort of trying to flog you the future, because it's not going to happen overnight, this, but it is happening slowly. And you're going to start to read Klarna, they don't need to hire 700 people. ASOS is using it now. You're going to start to read over the next 24 months, more and more real world use cases of how this technology has transformed businesses.
Exactly. And I think the key thing is, like, without AI right now, interest rates have been going up, and cost of, salaries are going up to like mark up with inflation because of the inflation's going up. So without it, you're going to be on that sort of negative spiral where your costs are going up. It's costing more to do everything, and different problems like that, basically. So this gives you the opportunity to almost reverse that. And the thing is, the companies that are able to like offer, like we're talking with call centers, for example, and many call centers are interested in offering a AI version solution for some clients in some use case in their business, and they can offer that at a more cost-effective price than human only. And you saw that, like, some call centers were outsourced to other countries. Now they might be insourced again using AI. So, ultimately the market is going to like speak, and if things are more productive and more affordable and more accessible, more people will go that way.
And we'll finish on this one, and we'll let you get on with your day. We've been here for almost an hour. So this is the point, is that there is huge potential, and AI Foundations is about you being able to begin to understand and learn about that potential, rather than worrying about, let's do some big innovative project that you've never really done before. But it's taking it step by step, stage by stage, getting comfortable with it, taking your organization with you, taking your stakeholders with you, and beginning to see the benefits of it, the return on investment. Because if there's an ROI, why are you going to do it? So it is now, which it wasn't 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago. It wasn't commercially viable in most cases, but now any organization can embed it. And the point I'll finish on is this, is that in the past, very, very generically, large enterprises did their thing. They had large clients, apart from maybe consumer products. And the SME, the smaller business, they were better. They were more personal. They could go around there and talk to the clients. You're now going to see a battle for the middle ground, because AI means that smaller organizations can go after the bigger opportunities, but it also means that big players can come after the smaller opportunities. They can now hyper-personalize, which was always the place for smaller businesses. So there's going to be a battle in the middle for who owns that middle ground. But for those businesses that embrace this, there's enormous potential. So that's what we're here to do. Please engage with us, reach out. AI Foundations, we've launched it about last week. If you want to know more, sign up to our resource center or drop us a message on LinkedIn, and we're not hard to find. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.